The Lumina were beings of immense age and profound tranquility. Their civilization had blossomed in the serene heart of a stable nebula, and their philosophy reflected this. A deep appreciation for stillness, for the slow unfolding of cosmic time, and for the attainment of inner radiance, a state of perfect, unwavering peace. They lived long, contemplative lives, observing the universe with a gentle, almost melancholic wisdom. Humans, by contrast, were a source of sympathetic bewilderment to the Lumina. Their short, frantic lifespans, their constant striving, their volatile emotions, it all seemed so effortful, so tragic. The Lumina believed humans, in their endless hurry, missed the true essence of existence and were incapable of grasping genuine inner peace. Zippo was a Lumina contemplative of the seventh order, a being whose luminous, vaguely humanoid form shimmered with soft, internal light. Zippo was assigned a task considered both mundane and mildly educational: to observe a human deep space survey team operating near the volatile Thorn-Zitkow stellar nursery. Such nurseries were chaotic, dangerous places, racked by radiation storms, gravitational anomalies, and unpredictable stellar flares. The Lumina High Council hoped that observing humans in such a stressful environment would provide further data on their ephemeral agitation, and perhaps offer insights into how such a species managed to function at all. The human survey ship, the Star Wanderer, was a compact, rugged vessel, crewed by a handful of scientists and engineers. Zippo, from a cloaked observation platform drifting silently nearby, focused its advanced senses on the ship. As predicted, the environment was challenging. A sudden gravimetric wave buffeted the Star Wanderer, followed by a burst of high-energy particles that played havoc with its external sensors. Alarms, though quickly muted, sounded within the human ship. Zippo prepared to document the anticipated human panic, the frantic commands, the displays of anxiety. Instead, what Zippo observed was unexpected. The human crew moved with a focused urgency, yes, but not panic. There was tension, certainly, but it was a tension born of concentration, not fear. They communicated in clipped, precise terms, their actions economical and purposeful as they worked to stabilize the ship and repair damaged systems. Zippo's attention was drawn to one human in particular, an engineer named Anya Sharma, who was working on a critical junction box for the FTL drive, which had been knocked offline by the particle burst. She was wedged into a cramped access tunnel, surrounded by sparking wires and failing diagnostic panels. The radiation levels in her immediate vicinity were climbing steadily. It was, by any objective measure, a high-stress, life-threatening situation. And Anya Sharma was humming. It wasn't a song of distress, nor a nervous tick. It was a low, tuneless, almost meditative hum, a simple, repetitive sound that seemed to emanate from deep within her. Her movements, as she meticulously bypassed damaged circuits and rerouted power couplings, were precise, unhurried, and incredibly focused. Her breathing, monitored by Zippo's sensitive instruments, was deep and regular. Zippo, a being whose entire existence was dedicated to achieving and understanding states of profound calm, was baffled. It activated its full suite of neurophysiological scanners, focusing them on Engineer Sharma. The Lumina expected to detect skyrocketing cortisol levels, erratic neural firing, all the biological markers of extreme stress and fear. The data that flowed back was astonishing. Anya Sharma's brain activity was highly active, yes, but it was in a state the Lumina archives tentatively labeled deep flow or hyperconcentration. Her physiological stress indicators, while elevated, were well within manageable parameters, and were, in fact, decreasing slightly as she worked. The humming, Zippo realized, wasn't a sign of anxiety. It was a component of her focus, a rhythmic anchor in the chaos, a way to maintain an incredibly high level of cognitive performance under extreme duress. She was not despite the danger, but within it, achieving a state of profound, active calm. Zippo compared this to the Lumina ideal of inner radiance. Lumina achieved their peace through stillness, through detachment, through long periods of silent meditation in stable environments. This human was finding her peace, her focus, her effectiveness in the very heart of a storm surrounded by lethal threats. It was a dynamic, engaged serenity, utterly alien to Lumina philosophy. Observation log. Subject Anya Sharma. Zippo transmitted back to the Lumina archives, its internal light flickering with uncharacteristic intensity. Despite exposure to Class 3 gravimetric shearing and escalating ion radiation, subject exhibits atypical stress response. Neurological patterns consistent with productive tranquility. Subject is utilizing auditory self-stimulation, humming, to maintain optimal cognitive function in a life-critical scenario. This is paradoxical. The Star Wanderer weathered the storm. Engineer Sharma, still humming softly, managed to bring the FTL drive back online just as another, more powerful radiation wave was detected approaching. The human ship, with moments to spare, jumped to safety. On the bridge, the human captain let out a sigh of relief and clapped Sharma on the shoulder as she emerged from the access tunnel, looking tired but composed. "Good work, Anya. You always were calmest when things get loudest." Sharma just smiled faintly. "Just had to find the rhythm of the problem, Captain." Zippo continued to observe, its perception of humanity undergoing a profound shift. It had seen other crew members exhibit similar, if less pronounced, traits. The geologist who calmly catalogued seismic data while alarms blared. The pilot who navigated through an asteroid field with relaxed, precise movements, a half-eaten nutrition bar forgotten beside her console. These humans weren't denying the danger. They weren't suppressing their emotions. They were integrating them. They were using the pressure, the urgency, as a whetstone to sharpen their focus, to achieve a state of heightened awareness and capability that was, in its own way, a form of profound mental discipline. The Lumina had always pitied humans for their short, frantic lives, but Zippo began to wonder if those short lives, lived so often on the precipice of challenge, had forged something unique within them. An ability to find stillness not in the absence of motion, but in the perfect execution of it. A capacity for active zen, for finding their center in the eye of the hurricane. The "oh shit" revelation for the Lumina wasn't about a hidden human weapon or a terrifying rage. It was the quiet, awe-inspiring discovery that humans could achieve a form of serenity and peak performance because of adversity, not just in spite of it. That their perceived restlessness was, in fact, a crucible for an incredible, adaptive mental fortitude. The chaos they so often courted or endured wasn't just a source of suffering, it was their training ground. Zippo's report, when it reached the Lumina High Council, was met with thoughtful silence. The implications were significant. If humans could achieve such profound states of focused calm under lethal duress, then perhaps the Lumina understanding of inner radiance was incomplete. Perhaps there were other paths to tranquility, paths that led through the storm rather than around it. The human capacity for engaged serenity is remarkable, one elder Lumina mused, its light pulsing softly. Their short lifespans, their constant confrontations with impermanence, it seems to have cultivated a unique resilience, an ability to be fully present and functional even at the brink. The Lumina didn't suddenly abandon their ancient traditions of quiet contemplation, but a new curiosity arose. Some younger Lumina began to study human psychology, not as a catalogue of flaws, but as a source of potential insight. There were even whispers of Lumina philosophers attempting active meditation techniques, trying to find that point of focused calm amidst simulated, very mild, by human standards, stressors. Humanity's standing amongst the Lumina subtly changed. The pity lessened, replaced by a quiet, intrigued respect. Humans were still seen as ephemeral, still passionate, but now their constant doing was viewed not just as restlessness, but as a potential expression of a deeply practical, surprisingly resilient form of inner peace. They were the universe's sprinters, perhaps, but they had learned to run their race with a focused grace that the long-distance marathoners of the Lumina were only just beginning to appreciate. The sound of an engineer humming in the face of oblivion had, in its own quiet way, resonated deeply within the ancient, silent heart of the Lumina.